like we got an actual crowd, guys.
Oh my God, hi guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slash and Bash. This is the Independent Filmmakers panel. Let me introduce our guests. First up, we have the ever so wonderful and oddly tall Gary Piland. We have the amazing and awesome Patrick Ray. I was going to go with the short joke, but I thought, no, that's just too on the nose.
Never heard it before.
Never. I'm sorry.
You should make it George
I'm having a brain. Introduce yourself. I'm having a brain fart.
I'm Tristan Clay. I'm the director of Red Eye.
Destinie.
Not from the child. Ba-doom-boom. Jessica.
Hi, Jessica Cameron. There's like literally bugs flying at my face right now.
You're too young to get that reference, aren't you?
Yeah.
You get it? Please tell me you...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
He's on the stage with us. I just saw him
Yeah.
at the beginning.
Joe Manco. I'm the director.
All right, let's go down the row real quick and let's get some big of the pinnacle stuff that you guys are known for. Blank stares.
I own Roaring Rat Films, and we've done 6 movies. We're doing our 6th right now. And we have 2 on Amazon, and let's move on to somebody more interesting.
My name is Patrick Ray. I've been making films in the Kansas City area now for 16 years. I directed a film called Nailbiter, which was shot mostly in Lawrence, Kansas.
So good.
It was released in 2013 in the Red Box, and then I directed a movie called Enclosure with Fiona Dourif and Jake Busey, which then was released under the awful title Arbor Demon, which is but it was on
Title's
Hulu.
too on the nose.
It was a little on the nose. It was on Hulu, and then I just had a movie come out last week on DVD in Walmart called Belong to Us, which is not a horror movie. It's a happy family movie. And then I just wrapped a horror movie called I Am Lisa, which I'm starting the editing on. So awesome.
We want you to believe that one is a family film, so you'll buy it, and then,
It's
your kids will...
It's PG-13, so it's not like rated G or something.
Me and Destiny are a team.
Deranged Minds Entertainment.
Deranged Minds Entertainment.
Yeah, bitch.
Our first film, Red Eye, is available on most video-on-demand platforms like Best Buy. It's available on Best Buy, Amazon, all that fun stuff. And we're working on editing Inverted, which is our second feature film. But yeah.
We like making movies and we're orphans.
I have my own, but thank you. I'm Jessica Cameron. My first film, Truth or Dare, not the Blumhouse piece of discussion
Garbage.
project. I was like, oh crap, don't insult filmmakers when you're on this. Truth or Dare came out. You can find it currently on Amazon Prime as well as a myriad of other places. And it's also available signed as a DVD over at my table at Slash and Bash. My second film, Mania, has been picked up. It's been picked up and sitting on the shelf for 2 years at the distribution company, so I'm hoping it comes out any day now. And it's post-production on my 3rd film, and also I'm on my 10th film as like a producer, so that's pretty cool.
Don't you have a movie that just got picked up and was shown on Sci-Fi just recently, or a few years ago?
Oh yeah, no, so as an actor, I've done over 100 films. So some of them that people know are Camel Spiders, which has been on Sci-Fi Channel for like many, many years that I don't see residuals on and I'm very resentful about. And then, do you? I'll sign it if you ask nicely. It's fine. I also starred in Red Eye, so you can buy a copy over at their table and I will happily sign it for you as well as a myriad of other films. Mr. Hush, like a bunch of indies. Chances are I'm like that girl that died way too soon in some indie you saw, and you want to know why I died too early, and the only answer I have is typically that they could afford me for X amount of days. And I'm sorry, but also, yay, filmmaking. So yeah. And I do a little YouTube show called Screen Queen Stream, which is all about indie, all about horror. So check it out for free on YouTube.
I have my film is called Anti-Christmas Carol, and that's featured on Troma Now, which is Troma Entertainment's. They have their own streaming service like Netflix or Shudder. And then we have we've also made another short with Lloyd Kaufman called Murder Balls. We shot that back in May. That was a freaking wacky couple days. And then right now, we have a short film with Paul T. Taylor from Hellraiser Judgment and Lawrence Vernado from Breaking Bad and Machete. It's called The Torture, written by Paul Kane from England. And we just wrapped filming, well, we wrapped in May. We're still in post-production, and we have an Indiegogo for that going right now. And we're just trucking along on that. We like horror films.
And here at Slash and Bash, they're showing a trailer, correct?
Yeah, the trailers, actually, this is the first time anyone's watching the trailer in 30 minutes.
I'll tell you what, if anybody is in here and wants to see it, and this goes beyond the time, we'll just go and pitchfork and torches to Keith and tell him to play it again. I'm pretty sure we can get that to happen.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like the world premiere here. It's like everyone in Texas is kind of annoyed with me that I'm not showing it there first. I'm like, you guys are gonna get to watch it with Fangoria in September because they're gonna be screening it before Satanic Panic, their new film. But yeah, it's here.
Cool. All right, so now with all the introductions out of the way, what we're going to discuss for everybody is how films are made, and for some reason I'm having problems. Oh, well, it's not here for any particular reason other than I like having things in my face. So anyway, we're going to talk about...
Well, now we know about your social life.
And yet you have trophies.
Oh, man. So anyway...
Certain circles they give you trophies for that. Don't judge.
Yeah, you don't get sex trophies for that stuff, you know, you gotta have children for that. So we're gonna talk about the processes of going through and making films, and basically starting from, basically if anybody's got any questions, because you want to get started making movies of some sort, whether it be like a short 5-minute movie to, dipping your hand into the whole world of magic and imagination, being the feature length. So, ladies and gentlemen, where does it start for you guys? The whole process. Basics. The first step.
I was 6 years old, saw Invaders from Mars.
Excellent.
Step 2, 2010, a few years later. I had promised myself to start making movies, so I started a company called Roaring Rat, and we've made 5 movies, worked on our 6th, and they've all been zombie movies. And my process is I don't sleep, and I write stuff down. Pretty soon I have a script, and then I sucker some people to be in my movie, and then we make a movie.
They've got that on camera now.
That's my process. That's my process. So I produce them, I write them, I direct them, and then I take the heat for them not being as what they could have been. So
Or just blame an extra.
yeah. And I don't make appearances in my movie.
Mr. Ray.
I occasionally make appearances, but I would say it definitely starts with an idea and then writing the script. I have a writing partner named Michelle Davidson who works with a lot of scripts that we've made, and then it's all about trying to find funds to make the film, creating a budget, going to investors with, this is how you're going to get your return back, and raising those funds, and then obviously the producing side of it is hiring crew, casting the film. I usually storyboard the movies out, which shot for shot. Though this last film I shot in July, I ended up just doing shot lists just because I just didn't have enough time to do storyboards. Pulling the crew together, and I work with a lot of the same people that I actually met a lot of them at KU at film school. And we've been working together now since 2006, so a lot of the same people. So it's been great. I've been just working here in the Kansas City area and trying to build up production, and I just worked with a lot of talented people. And after the film is done, then there's the lovely post-production process, which takes forever, and then
We'll talk about that in a minute.
That's a whole other. That could be a 3-hour discussion. And then of course, then getting a sales agent, getting a distributor, and all that stuff, which is a whole other topic. But it's definitely a long process.
I think for us, the creative process is the first thing, obviously, that you do. But I think it's different for each of our films because the second film we did is about a satanic cult. And it's funny because she goes to, do you want to tell the story about you going to your college
how we made
and how
the
you were inspired. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it starts with an idea, and then you really, my thing is you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Because if you don't want it enough, you're not going to be able to do it. Because it's the hardest fucking thing you'll ever do. Like, it's so insanely hard, and you'll want to give up so many times. But right at the beginning, when you're like, yeah, I think I want to make a movie, sit back and ask yourself, do I really want to make a movie?
Yes.
Because if you're passionate enough about it, you'll be able to do it. For real, really and truly, you'll be able to. Because I believe if you're passionate enough about something, you're never going to get up and you're going to. So I think that's the first step. And then the second step, getting your ideas down. And if you don't know how to write a script, look it up on Google. Everything's online. Teach yourself. You don't need to go to school. And yeah, go off from there. Oh, and how I inverted. I had a class in school that it was like a New Testament class. I go to a Christian college, and they were talking about Revelation, and I was like, ooh, that sounds fun. So then we wrote inverted.
Wait, you go to a Christian college?
Mm-hmm. My mom works there, so I go for free.
Really?
Yeah.
How is that not the movie?
There's
Like,
a
are you
there's a lot of
condemned to
jokes
hell? Are they trying to
about
convert you? Like, when you walk through the
Inverted.
doors, do people like throw shit at you? Is it holy
Yeah.
water?
When I was like passing out flyers on campus for Red Eye, it was a little weird, but
Why did you not film that? I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Love the movies, but I want to watch that. I want to see you handing a bunch of Christian college kids your fucking flyer for the first film you made.
I did.
That would be some great marketing material. I agree, because it opens up the door. But the funny thing is the whole Catholic or Christian school thing with the satanic cult stuff. That's a movie in and of itself, just because it's been done a million times. But why not a million more? It's like zombie movies.
Also, so side note, can you please just take that scene of Heather Dorff, I don't want to give anything away, watch Red Eye, and just show people and film their reactions at your Christian college. That's what I want to see. Like, you can do a YouTube channel of just people at the literally Christian college students reacting to. And I would watch that all day long. Like, please make that happen. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll see if I can.
Right, so okay, so of course it starts with an idea, which is also like not to be a dick, but kind of course it does, right? Like we have so many ideas, but fuck that. What really is, it's like an idea that you can't get away from. For me, if I can't stop thinking about it, if I keep dreaming about it, because I have a million ideas. I think every filmmaker has a billion ideas constantly. We see a movie and we're like, we would have done this, or that inspired me to do this, or wouldn't that have been great had this happened? Or like in our real life, oh my god, that should have been a movie. Everybody has tons of ideas. For me, it's like those ideas that you can't shake. So the ones that you're thinking about and dreaming about 3 months later, that's what to me makes it into a one page, which then gets made into a script, which hopefully then gets made into a movie, depending upon financiers. Pretty much. Like if I can't stop thinking about it as a horror fan, not as a filmmaker, fuck that part of it. If I can't stop thinking about it as a horror fan, and I've never seen anything like that, or that's explored that concept, then that's what I want to make. And that's how I determine what goes to camera, personally.
I personally, everything that they've all said is 100% true. And you always hear, get up, go out, and just do it. And if you want to, if you really want to just focus on one project at a time, there's nothing wrong with that. That's mostly ideal. I personally think being in a band is more difficult than making a movie. It really is. You're dealing, because you can just get rid of a production assistant. I mean, but if you get rid of a bass player or a drummer, where your drummer goes, you can't function without me, you're screwed. And then you're on hiatus or you get a drum machine. But making films are awesome. They're fun, and every time you do it, it gets easier and easier. And it always starts off with an idea, and then your concept grows, but then you realize you have to learn to make compromises and make cuts on your story due to budget. But if you really want to get it done and you have a crew of people that you place them all where their strengths are, you don't know who, until you get on set with your buddies, it's like, who does what? I'm like, okay, well, you actually are really good with Photoshop. You just saved me about $75. Go make some promotional art. oh, Jason, you know Kung Fu, can I throw you off the roof onto some boxes? You know how to fall.
No, don't ever throw people off roofs that are not like properly safetied.
No, you don't do that. No, you don't do that. But
That is bad fucking advice.
no, my friend, Jason, is actually a stuntman. I learned a lot about
Yeah,
him.
okay, if they're a trained
there's
stuntman and
that
they have the
part,
proper
but-
precautions.
Yeah, I would never just go up to you and say, hey, can I throw you off a roof? No, I'd find out who is capable.
Bitch, please, one of the two of us are flying off a roof, it's not me.
I'm not doing it either. But you find who you know and where their strengths lie, and then you put them in that position. And if they're down and they want to keep going, you stay loyal to your team, and it just, like I said, it gets easier every time. And I think I don't remember how many I've made. They're all short films. I've made a bunch of music videos, but it's, I mean, like I said, they get better every time. It gets easier every time, and everyone just knows their craft better.
There's one thing I want to throw on that every one of you have said that you don't say with that, you say it kind of passingly, even though it's one of those things that you're so ingrained because you say it so much because it's true. It's the team, the family, that whole aspect of it. I mean, I was listening to Kent Wagner when I was talking to him about stuff, and it literally boils down, this microphone sucks. It's literally, that's all right. I can talk loud. So it literally boils down, you guys, like you say, you find those people, the people you went to school with, the people you connect with at all these different events, the people you went to school with, the people you meet at school, the people that you interact with on a daily basis. It's always down to that aspect of team, and like the interaction you guys just had was amusing about, you ain't throw me on the roof, it's great because it's true, you don't do that because you got to know the person, and that's the point. You was in that passive.
Well, I would have never put Jason through any of this stuff until but I got to know him first. And
Because you didn't think about it when you said it.
Well,
not
like,
in a
can I
bad
ask
way.
you what your insurance policy says?
I don't have an insurance policy. We're total gorilla. But Jason is licensed in Easy Union, and it's like, I trust you, and I've seen your reel, so.
Yeah, you know the guy.
You are far braver than me. I
That's
need
the
insurance.
point. But that's the point I'm getting at, is that you know your team and you know where they are, what they do, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what their professions are, etc. And it ends up becoming a part where you forget them.
I would add one thing to this, though. I agree with everything you've said, but I have found when I make films, there's one thing that lets you finish a film is when you, as the core idea person, whoever that is, director, whatever, you're the one that can't give up, because other people give up.
No, you're the one that makes all the sacrifices.
And you'll see people fall by the wayside, people that promise you all this stuff and then they don't follow through. That's the hardest part for me, is you'll go, yeah, we're in this together, let's make this movie, and then they go, oh, I'm kind of busy on Thursday, and you go, well, yeah,
But here's the thing, I think realistic expectations
yeah.
serves everybody really well. So if you're an independent filmmaker and you're not paying people, you need to understand realistic expectations. No offense, as somebody who's an actor, if you're cutting my rates or like not paying me, you need to understand you're gonna get what you pay for, period. So like understand that versus like, I think there's a very big difference as somebody who tries to do her best to pay people always, maybe not a lot, but something. I find that my team goes over and above almost always. Like, I literally cannot tell you a single time when I've been making a movie where the people that I've been working with didn't overextend themselves. Almost always. Like, there's the odd exception, but they are the odd exception. But that being said, I also don't hire people that are working on free movies without getting paid. Like, I hire professionals, and I think that there is a difference between a hobbyist and a professional. So I'm not saying one's better or one's worse. I'm simply saying there's a different level of expectations depending upon who you're hiring and what you're paying them. And that needs to be taken into consideration when you're doing the hiring and when you're making the movie.
Well, yeah, that's very true. I mean, because if you're a hobbyist, if you're really into what you're making, you'll eventually cross that line into professionalism. And man, dude, doing these weekend warrior shoots sucks. Because, you know, you're like, oh, we can shoot this day, we have no money, but you really want to make this project. And then, you know, next thing you know, it's going to be a couple weeks before you get back to that same exact project and everyone's just out of it. So yeah, having financial backing, and you can like spend 5 days straight working on a small project and everyone's in the groove, and yeah, money always helps. But, you know, it is what it is, and you'll be somewhere.
I kind of want to second what Jessica was saying. You know, I've worked with the same crew since 2006, but I've raised their rates every shoot. So basically, their rates for Nailbiter were X amount of dollars, and then when we did the family film, I raised it another $100, and then we did the film we just did, I raised it another $100, and with, you know, with that, they feel respected, and they do the best job they can possibly do, and we never go past 12 hours. And you know, that's a way to kind of build your crew and build a family that keeps coming back for each movie because they have an enjoyable experience. They don't feel like they've been overworked or mistreated. And of course, we feed them gloriously.
Food helps.
Food is yeah. I always
that
tell
too.
people that what's your catering budget, because it's like that's one of the most important things, and a lot of people kind of don't think about it, but it really is. And so, you know, each movie I make, I get the same people back because they had a good experience, they got paid well, and they are willing to work over beyond, you know, what they would be getting paid. You know, if they weren't getting paid like at all, then a lot of people, like you said, like you can kind of do that for a short film.
Yeah.
For like 2 or 3 days, but when you're doing like a 15-day feature, you need to pay people.
And you can also do like for a short film, you do that once. The second time, people are gonna be like, no, you're like. Here's the thing about a movie. Nobody wants to talk about this. I'm an actor and a filmmaker, so I will tell you the truth. A film getting seen helps the filmmaker the most in the independent world, more than any of the actors involved, more than the effects, more than the sound guy. The filmmaker is going to benefit the most. So at the end of the day, of course, people don't care as much as a filmmaker because they get the greatest amount of benefit. Think about it like in any other application or like any other business or job. The person who's getting the greatest benefit is the person who, of course, has to do the most work. Right? But also, like, it's when I make a movie, it's my child. It is literally my baby. I don't expect the actors or the sound guy or any of them to treat it the way I do. That's why I try to pay them a little something and work around their schedule, because I know that they're not going to treat it like their own. I hope that they have their own projects to treat like their own so that they understand where I'm coming from, and I do cast and hire accordingly to that. But I also understand realistic expectations that, of course, this is not the most important thing. As an actor, I do 9 to 15 indies a year. As a filmmaker, I direct once every 2 years. So guess which one takes more hours of my day? The movie I make once every 2 years that I literally devote my entire life towards, as opposed to like an actor where it's a job and I do it for 2 to 3 weeks and I care a lot about it in that time. So I'm not trying to downplay it, but I'm just saying realistic expectations. I give it the time that it deserves to do my job well, and then I move on to the next gig.
You say that, before you continue, I just want to point out to everybody, if any of you have a question related to anything that's being said up here, please raise your hand. Don't wait until, oh, hey, they're going to ask questions. Raise that hand. We'll be glad to answer that question, and especially if it's in relation to like what you just said. If you have a question about that, definitely get that hand up there. We'll gladly answer your questions.
Oh, I was gonna add about, you know, insurance, because I mean, one thing with the last 2 or 3 films, I've had to have insurance on every movie that I make. Especially because now when I go to a location, that's one of the first things they ask is, do you guys have insurance? Like,
any decent location, and also any rental place
Right.
required you to have it. So while again you can run and gun,
You can
walking, but I'm just saying for like, and also like for the record, if you want distribution from even the shittiest distribution company, they're gonna want your deliverables and they're gonna require that paperwork to show that you've had it, just in case somebody decides to sue you after the fact. They're gonna want a copy of it.
And that's,
so again, if you ever want to make profit off your film, get insurance. If you can't pay for insurance, let's just say it's broke. Here's a fun little trick. You can literally work around the weekends. So like most insurance companies, depending, you can say, hey look, we need it for 10 days. We're not shooting on the weekends, so don't shoot on the weekends. But they'll cut your rates if they know that you're shooting Monday through Friday. For 2 weeks, it's gonna be less than if you're shooting consecutively over the weekends. So again, talk to them and just be like, what can I do to decrease the rates? And you can actually get, like, for me, I usually pay somewhere around $2,000 to $2,300 for a feature film. But again, that's the difference between getting a distribution deal and not. So again, just ask around.
well, and we just shot at a abandoned police station in Kansas City. Not a very safe location. We ended up having to hire security. Nothing happened. But they wanted
blood splatter, throw a random weirdo.
In the movie, there's blood splatter, but not, you know, nobody was.
Not in life.
Right. But they wanted $10 million worth of liability insurance. And we luckily were able to talk them down to $2 million. But I mean, they were willing to negotiate with us, which was great. But yeah, like you just have to, I mean, if you want good location, then you have to deal with that.
But also, like, as an actor, here's the thing, especially if I'm cutting my race, full disclosure, as an actor, I don't have insurance. I'm Canadian. If something really bad happens to me, I'm like, fly me to Canada, I'm covered up there. I don't have insurance. So if I'm working on your movie for a discounted rate, especially, and something happens to me, I can't afford to pay that. So if you don't have insurance, I am fucked in a very real way. Which means, guess what? You're, in my opinion, you're doing your actors a disservice because, and also like as an actor, if you trip and fall over that cord and break your leg, I don't want anyone to go bankrupt over working on my movie for a day.
But that's not just on horror films. That could be like on
No,
romantic
that's
comedy. That could be
no, but
anything.
that's on any set, period. It's just on filmmaking, sorry, just on filmmaking. So that's where I feel like, again, like an insurance policy is such a worthwhile asset. But also like for me, like when I talk to my actors, I don't want anything bad to happen, or my crew for that matter. I want to know that like if something, don't get me wrong, like there's like a $500 typically deductible. So if something happens where it's like less than $500, it's not covered. That's fine. My big thing is like if something were, and keep in mind, we're coming from a position where after producing 10 films, I've never had to call in that health issue, thank God. But I know that when I'm hiring actors, I'm hiring crew, if something were to happen, I also get a $2 million policy typically, that's pretty standard. I know that if anything were to happen, they're covered. And to me, that's like a small peace of mind that you owe your cast and crew, for me. And also like as an actor, I appreciate that because I want to know like if something happens to me, am I going to literally lose everything that I have because I did 2 days on your independent movie, or is it going to be covered? So it's something to keep in mind.
All right, moving on to another topic, because you both brought it up, and all that other stuff. I'm curious about your approach to location. Because like you said, finding the abandoned police, we know that there's the whole, you send out your rep that goes and your location scout. But what are some of the problems you run into with like certain towns require certain things, all the fun stuff that people don't think about when it's, oh, you found your location?
We do locations pretty simply. I drive around till I find somewhere I want to shoot a movie. Then I ask the people that own the place if I can shoot a movie, and then I shoot a movie. We've never had insurance on any of our sets. We're all volunteer. We don't pay anybody. But we're not SAG. We don't have professional actors. It's all local amateurs. So that's who we are. So everybody on our movie is there just because they want to be, or they said they would be. And when we go to locations, I've got a friend that owns some land. And I'm not recommending this for anybody else. They're right. This is the right way to do it. I just don't have the money to do that stuff, and I don't have backers, so I have to do it on a shoestring. So we spend all of our money on buying lights, on doing that part of the stuff. Nobody in my movie ever gets paid, especially me. So I'm just, that at that level. These guys are pros, I'm an amateur. But I've also found finding locations, some people just don't want you to shoot a movie there. If they find out what kind of movie it is, it might stop them. If they find out, whatever that you're pro-Trump or against Trump, they may not want you on their property. Who knows? You never know what's going to block you. But my favorite story is we found a house that was perfect. We were going to shoot in the kitchen. They said everything was great. And they said, what kind of movie is it? And we said, it's a zombie movie. And they said, the zombies are from the devil. You can't shoot here. That's a true story. That's a true story. So that's me. We don't have, these guys are great. They do a lot higher level work than I do. But we do it on an absolute shoestring. I shoot movies for under $2,000 usually. And that includes feeding the not that good of food to my crew and actors and stuff. But
It's free food, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so that's just me. So listen to these guys, not to me. So that's locations for me.
I usually, when I'm writing a script, I usually have locations in mind that I have access to. So that helps things a lot. But this last film I did, there were a lot of locations, obviously the police station. I just talked to the Kansas City Film Office, and she was able to, I was like, hey, do you have access to a police station? She's like, I know one that just closed. And so She helped me, and I got in touch with the city, and that's, we worked out our deal. A lot of times, thankfully in Kansas City, a lot of locations don't require lots of money, if any money. Like, I was able to spend maybe $400 total on locations on this last movie, which is ridiculous. So I always kind of look for the ones that are obviously free, but best fit the story. If you're ever shooting on a road or doing anything, go through the proper channels to make sure that you've got permission to be there, because you don't want to have somebody coming in and shutting you down. Same thing with any location for that matter. Just make sure that you have permission from the owner. Funny story, we actually shot in a park this last month, and we went through Kansas City, North KC's Parks and Rec department to get permission to shoot there. So they gave us the permit. We show up that night to film, and the mayor of North Kansas City shows up in his truck with a bunch of city council people. And they just sit in the truck and watch us film. And finally I sent somebody over there, and they're like, so what are you guys doing? We're like, well, here's our permit, we're here, we've got permission from Parks and Rec to film here. And they go, well, actually the Parks and Rec person was supposed to take this to the city council, we were supposed to vote on it. So they're like, you're not in trouble, but she is. So we're like, okay, well that's good. At least we're clear to go. But I think they were probably expecting us to do like a car chase through their park or something, and it was like this really small scene between two people. So they got bored after about an hour waiting for us to light it, and they left. So, but anyway. No.
Then the car chase happened.
Yeah, then the car chase.
But weren't they like, you're Patrick Ray, you're the most successful filmmaker to ever come from Kansas, do whatever the fuck you want?
No, that never happened.
So you should!
For Red Eye, it was pretty easy because we knew when writing that we just needed the woods. We try to stay pretty simple because we knew we were limited to resources as we were fresh into the business, or whatever you want to call it. So we knew that our limitations were really short for that one. Now Inverted, I don't know what we were thinking when we wrote it. We thought we had probably $1 million, if not more. But we made it with $10,000. And we
Let's
went
just
through.
strike that from the record, because we don't want distribution. We don't want distribution to know that, because then they'll offer you deals based on that.
That didn't happen.
That was the first scene, right?
That was just the first half, the first week.
That was just for director offers.
Yeah, absolutely. And so on Inverted, we went about 6 different locations, and about every single one of them fell through. One, we got a house, and then they were tearing it down conveniently right before our shoot. We had a distillery, then they were all fine with it. We had discussions, everything was great. Paperwork was about to be done, and then they asked for $7,000. So it's all fun, but yeah, that's location.
I'll just add that whenever you're making a film, there'll be many ups and downs, and you're going to get pushed down a lot. But as I said in the beginning, if you want it bad enough, you're going to be able to do it.
So, as far as locations, for me, I usually write around what I have. I think that's really important. So, understand, like, as a filmmaker or as just like a person, you have access to X amount of things. If you want to make a movie for like a low budget, figure out what you have access to, right? So you don't have a church, don't run a movie that needs a church, right? You fucking live in an apartment or a house, write a movie that can shoot in that apartment or the house, or who do you know? So like for me, like even like, I have friends in Hollywood, so I live in Los Angeles, California, so like my friend Nick has a studio, so I'm literally, you can ask him, I'm all the time like, what are you doing? I'm not shooting this week. Can I come help you paint a psych? Which, for the record, like a psych is a giant wall that people shoot. Why? And he was like, really, you want to help me? I was like, yes. Why? Because I'm going to need to borrow your studio space and not pay you the full rate. And when I ask you for a discounted rate, I want to say, hey, remember all those times I helped you? Now I'm returning that favor. So X amount of times before I ever needed anything from him, just as friends, I was like, let me come out of my way to help you paint your psych. So that when I need a favor from you, I can ask, and I'm not even remotely ashamed because I feel like I've earned it. And he's fine with that. So I think that's really important. And then also, I did a movie shooting cross country, which, by the way, getting insurance on that was fucking a bitch. But we got it. And we covered like our 10-person crew shooting across country. And there came a moment where we were literally driving through New Mexico. We're doing a driving scene. in the middle, like nothing distinguishable. It's fine. We're like, oh my god, we're in this small town that is featured in the script. We weren't planning on shooting that scene, but then we decided to when we saw like the perfect little teeny tiny cathedral, right? Perfect. We did not plan to shoot there, not at all remotely scheduled, but it's there, and it's literally exactly what's in the script. By the way, the script is called Lilith. It's in final stages of post-production. Stay tuned for that. So we see that like perfect location, we're like, oh my god, yes. So then we get out of the RV, we have like our 10 main filmmakers, like the 10 main crew in the RV. We get out, we show it. There's like a little sign that says do not enter. However, the door's open, right? So it says don't enter, but like the door's open. So mixed messages, kind of a thing.
It's only a recommendation.
Right. Also, don't necessarily do this, but like also do this. So we're just like, go, it's fine, it's fine. So like, and then, so the door, the gate of like the property's open, and then the door of the cathedral's open. So we're like, let's just check this out. It's fine, let's check this out. Cut to the entire crew. The other 9 people are inside checking it out, thinking about like lighting and sound. And it's like the most perfect small cathedral that's like in the script. Where I'm like, oh my god, this is like a godsend. Cut to a scary looking man coming in a pickup truck, being like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'm like, no, crew, shut the fuck up, let me handle this. So I'm like, hi, I'm Jessica, I want to shoot a movie here, who are you? And he's like, I have the rights to this fucking cathedral, I'm the maintenance manager, you're not allowed to be here. And I was like, okay, what can I do? I would really like to rent this location. Can we rent this location? We want to shoot a movie today. Hi, what can we do? He's like, really? You want to rent the location? I was like, yeah, I want to give you money so we can shoot here. Are you doing anything today? It's like a Thursday. I would love to rent the location. He's like, so confused. And also, side note, got a lot scary when I offered to rent the location. So he was like, okay, let me talk to my boss. I was like, cool, you go talk to your boss. That would be great. So I tell my people who are now like exploring this cathedral, I was like, it's fine, but like, let's not show him that we have 9 people. Let's just like kind of hide. Right? Like, I don't want him to know that we have so many people. Cause like, he thinks we're an RV, it might be like 3 people, it might be 9 people, it's fine. Just keep this between us. Whatever. So he comes back, he's like, okay, so here's the thing. You have to talk to Father so-and-so about renting the location. He's at the cathedral 20 minutes away. And I'm like, excuse me? Father, what's his face? Yeah, it's an actual Catholic priest. I was like, okay. I was like, just out of curiosity, how does Father so-and-so feel about horror movies? And he was like, well, I mean, a lot of them are against the Catholic religion. I was like, okay, sure, that's fine. So like, there's like a whole thing, we filmed the process for Kill the PA, which is like a making of documentary series, where we're like, how much can we tell him that's like not technically lying, but still keeps our insurance policy without us burning in hell, right? Like, because we want to be truthful, but we don't want to burn in hell. So like, there's a balancing act that happens here. We're like, we're shooting a movie about a demon who tries to kill people, who's sent from like God. It's like a thing. So we don't want to die, but we also want to make the movie, so what can we do and what can we say? So eventually, basically, it shows us like going to the Catholic church, which by the way is beautiful. So this is like a multi-million-dollar Catholic church, 22 minutes outside of this teeny tiny small town, middle of New Mexico town. And he was the most understanding, sweet, kind-hearted individual. He would not go on camera. He did not want to be on camera. I literally was like, here's the thing. We're making a horror movie. That's what we're doing. But it doesn't portray the Catholic Church in a negative light. And we need a small town church. And you happen to own a small town church. And we're just independent filmmakers who are doing the best that we can. And we would love your support. And he was like, absolutely. And I was like, what do we owe you? What can we pay you? He was like, just make a donation. I'll sign whatever you need. So he signed the location waiver, which also, if you want to do an actual distribution deal, you have to submit to them your location waivers. So get those paperworks that you need, because if you don't have them, you're not going to get a distribution deal. And he was like, you pay whatever you think you should pay. We're not going to give you a dollar amount, but just know we love independent film, and if you want to shoot at our location, like this multi-million-dollar Catholic church, which is so beautiful, so beautiful. It was like hardwood, everything as far as the eye could see. You're welcome to shoot here, just let us know. I was like, no, actually, like in the script, it's like a small little town cathedral, so I don't need to shoot at this multi-million-dollar location, but thank you. For the record, thank you. And then they literally gave us carte blanche. We could do anything. They didn't care. We gave them a small donation. Not anywhere near what they were worth, but it was like literally what we could afford. and they were so thankful, signed the waivers, and everything is totally done above board. I feel like that story to me is representative of how you can handle yourself, which is like honest and truthful, and doing everything that needs to be done to get the movie made in a way that you can get it distributed legally. So that's what I would say to you. Keep in mind, I'm a big fan of let's do like the minimum that we need to do because we do work on low budget, but also let's do a movie that we can get actually released. Because at the end of the day, if we can't release it properly, it doesn't help out anyone, including the filmmaker.
So I feel like a lot of what I'm going to say is exactly almost what you just said, because what everyone has just said is basically it doesn't hurt to ask, and a lot of it when you're talking to the guy you're trying to get your location from, it's kind of like a need to know sort of thing, like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing, but we do need some paperwork signed. They 9 times out of 10 they want to read the script. I shot at a church as well. We made a short film. It's a stoner comedy about a suicide cult inside this church in Fort Worth, Texas. And I live in Dallas, Texas, all right? And so it's, pretty red state over there. And I was really nervous because this lady who ran the church, she was the pastor, I guess, and I'm trying to be as honest as possible. She was super nice, and I felt really bad that I was about to defile her church. And I was like, thank you so much. She already signed the paperwork and everything. She signed the waivers. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, sure, you don't want to read the script? She goes, no, I don't want to read it. I'm like, are you aware of what we're making? She goes, I know, I've heard.
Did you tell her it was a stoner comedy?
She knew it was a stoner
I
comedy.
love that.
She was totally cool and awesome.
But I feel like it's 2019. They know that like some of their
Right.
progression does drugs.
Well,
They get that.
I guess. If you're going to church in Fort Worth, I don't know.
I don't do drugs, but I would probably have to do drugs to go there.
They don't need to do drugs to talk to the snakes.
But-
It's just the way it is down there.
This church was huge. I mean, it had like a little Sunday school room. It had a giant conference room that we used for our production office, and we also put our tech room in there. It had this giant kitchen, so we were able to get our whole crafty set up, and we actually had a cook on site. And we utilized, and they had this giant empty parking lot with all these woods around it. And so we made our road trip film, and I think, and it was raunchy and fun. And she didn't want to watch it, but she was very glad to help artists. And I too do have a friend who runs a studio in Dallas, and I grew up with him. I went to high school with him, and so whenever I need a place, the first thing I think about is, well, how am I going to use my studio that I have free access to? What's around there, and how am I going to utilize that? And so I write as best as I can to fit my primary location. And I mean, we shot The Torturer there.
Let's be honest, by primary location, you're meaning location you can get for free.
Exactly. But I mean, it's a studio, and it has got like probably, I don't know, 80 rooms. We always get like the biggest room.
80, that's right.
We get like the biggest room, and we make it our production office. We have another room that we use for makeup, and we crafty, and then we have our set. And the rooms are completely black. The ceiling's black, the walls are black, the floor is black, so we can play with it as much as we want. We have enough space for our own green screens. We can do whatever the hell we want. And it's got this really crazy alleyway, so we shot murder balls in the alleyway, and then I have a friend who has a bar in Deep Ellum, which is like where all the rockers and it's all where all the clubs are. And so, we took Lloyd Kaufman there, and we shot there, and then we go to Pro, and we shoot in the alleyway, and we just like, what do I have at my disposal? And it's like, that's when I started reaching out to my friends who are just like, man, I just wish I could, help out one day. And I'm like, well, can I use your bar? Can I show up before you guys open?
You're like, as a matter of fact, you can.
Yeah, exactly. And they're always down. So just, friendship goes a long way.
It does.
Loyalty does, and all you gotta do is ask. But always get a waiver signed, please.
One thing from my angle, if you will, as a content creator for just stuff like this, it's not much different from what you guys do as filmmakers, is what I like to call the lack of shame. It's literally going up to people that normal con goers, for example, would never do. Like walking up to John Schneider and Tom Wopat, for you young ones, it's Dukes of Hazzard. I was just teasing, not really. But anyway, walking up to him like, Hey, I was a big fan. Can I interview you? For what? My website.
That's a good way to start, actually. Get to meet people.
And what's great is when you screw it up and the first 5 minutes didn't get recorded and you laugh about it and you get a great end scene with it too. It was great. And yes, that happened. It was funny.
I got some great advice from churches. We went, because we had a church scene in Blackstone in the movie. Oh, sorry. We went to every church in Topeka, all over the area, all got turned down flat. No zombie movies in our church. But the UUFT church, wanted Universalist, Unitarian, those guys were like, and they said, come on in, shoot your zombie movie, because if you think about it, Jesus was a zombie. And I just went, you guys are so cool. They let us come in, do whatever we wanted. We've never done a location waiver, so I've learned something there. But they just said, come in and
It
do
really
it.
helps with distribution, because they want that.
Well, and I'll keep that in mind. And all of the places we've shot, I've got permission, I could get back and get signed stuff. But the UUFT churches, those guys are so open-minded. You know, you can do gay vampire zombies, and they're like going, please, bring more in. So it's just an idea. You do a church.
That's great, actually. I mean, the fact that you hear from the church saying, oh yeah, Jesus was a zombie too. It's like, yes!
The zombies are from the devil.
Yeah, that's the two extremes we got. Yeah.
So I don't know which side to go on that one. It's just, you guys are literally with two different stories on two different sides of the thing. That's great, it's perfect. So, with some extra advice, I looked down, poof. Disappeared.
She's indisposed. She'll be back.
Okay. Well,
Boom.
oh,
We fixed it.
yeah, it'll stop working again. So, as somebody who wants to be an extra in movies or wants to find the way to climb the ladder, what would you guys recommend for people who? And there she is. Perfect timing. People who want to be in your movies. Now, of course, everybody's got to start somewhere. What would be your recommendations as filmmakers and as an actress? What would somebody want to do that wouldn't tick you off, make you annoyed, frustrate you, or just go like right off?
Will we get you kicked off set?
No. Like,
For the record, you have to
meet
work
somebody.
really hard to piss off an indie filmmaker because we're usually begging you to do something
Yeah.
way below your rate.
But you get those type of people that will come up to you and be like, I want to be in your movie. Well, I got this great part where it'll be about 5 minutes, you're going to die, we're going to throw you onto a bed, and it's going to be really awesome. No, I want a speaking role.
Well, if I get
Not
stuck,
that I'm speaking
Well,
from
but hold on. So first
experience.
of all, but like in that scenario, if you're an actor, I'm offering you a role, and then you tell me what your requirements are, you're no longer getting hired. Right?
That's what I'm shooting at.
You literally, you're like, oh my God, you're great. I want you for this role. And then you're like, oh my God, but I want lines. If I offer you a role and you don't have lines, shut the fuck up and take that job. Or don't. But like, I understand if you then go to negotiate, there's no negotiation in independent film. It's take it or leave it.
you get what you get. Don't
Yeah.
throw a fit.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you want me to notice you, market yourself. Here's the thing. So, all of the A-listers have a marketing team. I don't expect you to pay people to market yourselves, but I expect you to get off your fucking ass and market yourself. So I want you to be on Twitter, I want you to be on Facebook, I want you to be on Instagram. I want to see you bragging and fucking promoting all of the film that you've worked on. Period. Pardon?
EDC web website.
Well, I mean, let's not go there. But
It's not that kind of a website, James.
I mean, it's fine. I've already heard about your children, aka trophies. It's fine. Actor's like rubbing his forehead. It's fine. But no, I want to see you marketing and I want to see you promoting yourself. Because here's the thing: as long as I'm paying you, even as little as $100 a day, you have to show me what you're bringing to the table. And if you're not bringing something to the table, guess what? Whatever role you think you should be qualified for, I can find someone who can do that job that brings more to the table than you. So, when in doubt, market, promote yourself, be active on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also be positive. The other thing that you can do that really turns me off, if I see an audition and it's great, the audition's not great, I'm not going to check your socials, right? You're already not cast. You audition for me, you submit an audition, and the audition's going like, oh my God, who is this person? Let me check them out on their socials. And then I see bitch, 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 complain, complain, complain. Oh wow, I don't want to work with you. Why? Because you're so busy complaining about so many things. I don't want to take the chance that you can bitch and complain about me. Because here's what I know to be true. On an independent film, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Guess what? You're going to be sitting around. Your call time is going to be 9, you're not going to shoot till 11. And it's not because I'm not doing my job, it's because fucking shit happens. And your job as an actor is to be professional, sit down, shut the fuck up, know your lines, do your job. If you're fucking tweeting about, oh my god, this person called me to set at 9 a.m. and I didn't bother getting to like shoot anything until 11:30. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
The person with experience though should already know that part of the job is to hurry up and wait.
They should, but they still don't.
Yeah, right.
The amount of people
I was
that
in the Marine Corps, that was a motto.
Yeah.
That was our motto.
Another motto I like on set is fuck your feelings. We're making a movie.
When I was on the set with Gary's movie that we just did a couple weekends ago now, something like that, while we were hurrying up and waiting, it was like, ooh, look where we're at, and granted, luckily it was one of those situations where he was in between getting the main people doing stuff, and I'm running around going, God damn, as a spider decides to swing at me thinking it's fucking Peter Parker. But it was one of those things where we're not interrupting Gary, Peter, I don't just names, you know, who cares, they're just names. But it's just being professional, trying to be professional, and tell a spider to stay. But it's having fun, engaging, knowing we're going to be waiting, but it's finding fun, quiet, entertaining ways to entertain yourself and everybody around you. So when it does happen, nobody's just sitting there going,
Completely. And also, I want to add a shout out to Ali Ferda, because she's like the best vegetarian I've ever worked with. I come from Hollywood, where there's like a lot of people with stupid dietary restrictions, and I'm keto, so I fucking get it. But also, like, if you have a dumb fucking dietary restriction, bring your own motherfucking snacks. I'm just saying. Here's the thing. Don't expect, like, tell them when we send out an email notification to be like, what's your dietary restriction? First of all, respond back in a timely manner, which, for the record, is within 48 hours.
You'll get it in 4 seconds from me. It's an all seafood diet. If I see it, I'll eat it.
Good. Noted. But like you said, vegetarian is a little bit different. They want to touch meat. That's fine. I worked with Ali. She's like the easiest type of vegetarian. She automatically, even though like I was already aware of her vegetarian requirements, she brought her own snacks. She was like, I know that I told you and that you acknowledged the receipt of my email saying that these were my dietary restrictions, but just in case you didn't actually meet them, I brought my own food. Love that. Here's the thing. As somebody who's keto also, which means I don't eat bread typically, I know I did it this computer. Let's keep that as a secret. I know, oh my god. Normally I don't. It's fine. I'm prepared to like bring my own stuff to manage. Don't get me wrong. Is it the best life I'm living if I have to eat like almonds from my purse or seaweed from my purse? No! But it's fine. I'm getting paid for a day. It's not the end of the world. Dial it the fuck back. But like I feel like vegetarians like Ali should be commended because like they literally take care of themselves and they're so hard to find. I've seen other people in Hollywood, they're like, oh my god, I can't eat that lettuce because what if the person handling it touched the burgers over there? It's like, likelihood is that they didn't. They probably opened the bag to which their gloved hands touched the bag and then dumped the bag of lettuce in the bowl. No meat came in contact, you're fine, right? So we need to commend those people who are fucking awesome.
Those people clearly never worked in the food and beverage industry. Because you have to wash your hands like every time you touch something. You know?
I mean, maybe not in Hollywood.
Well, my director of photography, he this thing doesn't work. Bad.
Joe, we can hear you. You're
So, like, my director of photography,
who? Name?
George, or Yuck. His name is Yuck. He's
I feel like that's not actually his name.
No, it's his name. His name is Yuck. He's from Liechtenstein.
Oh.
And anyway, he comes in and we're shooting on a we're shooting on a Red Warrior Dragon in 6K. So this is like a really heavy camera, you know, weighs about 60 pounds. And then he's got his shoulder rig. But his diet, the guy is like a beast. He doesn't want to ever take a break. And when you're in your zone, you don't want to stop because once you stop, you're fucked. But all he would eat is cheese, salmon, and egg whites. and he would forget to eat because
That's really specific.
that's all he ate. And if he didn't eat, he would start to crash.
It's a high
And I would have
But are
to.
you Texas-based?
I am.
How much salmon do you have in Texas?
We have to go to Costco a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, it's like I have to take care of my director of photography, you know,
All he
because
wants
he's
is salmon.
and because he's
That
working.
fucking bitch.
The guy's working. But you know, I'm gonna respect his dietary, you know, his dietary needs and everything, because if he has any sugar, he's gonna have to go to the hospital. So I have to take care of my crew, and I had a small cast. Well, no, all the extras. There's a lot of extras in the torture, but
The principal cast was how many?
my principal cast was 2 guys. It was
Okay.
Paul Taylor and Lawrence Renato. And Lawrence,
Oh my god, I love Paul Taylor.
yeah, he's
So great.
You should
Check out our interview with him here on YouTube.
You guys should listen to his Pee Wee Herman impressions.
I mean, or maybe not.
Or he'll just keep going. But no, anyway, you have to take care of your crew. You got to take care of your cast to, you know, a certain level. Also taking your budget into consideration. So it's a lot of wishy-washy. Do I like you? Do I not like you? Am I going to take care of you? Am I not? Do I want my film to will look good? Do I want everyone to
Hold
be
on.
happy?
I've never known anyone to hire somebody they didn't like. Are you saying you've hired someone you did not like?
I've had to.
Really?
Yeah.
They fit the role you needed.
Yeah. I've had to, but you know, it gets the job done. And I'll put my own bullshit aside because for the shot, man. For the movie, man.
We all have to work with some aspects.
Yeah. Everybody.
I mean,
I don't
Gary
fuck those
picks me up sometimes. So.
No.
I mean, I'll put
Fuck
my
off.
own bullshit to a side. I'll squash it if I have to get the thing done. But once the project's done, it's like, you know, I don't need to talk to you again, dude. So, but
I'm
thank you
a
for
vengeful
helping.
motherfucker. If I don't like you, I'm not hiring you.
It's a good thing this show's a family-friendly channel.
You're right.
I would add this though. When I'm looking for people, I want attitude. I want skills. You want good actors, but I also want people that have a generous spirit on my set. And some actors are
Your water went away.
so important to themselves that they can't give anybody else any room to breathe. So I always look for attitude, and I look for people that really want to be there. And I have found too that sometimes the people with the most skills are also the people with the most generosity. And that's how they got there.
Yeah.
They shared with people and they learned. So if somebody wants to be on one of my films, I look for attitude.
Yeah.
And then I look for skills. If they're a lead actor, I need somebody that can do that. You can't fake that.
Well,
But that's what I look for, is attitude.
I know, because here's the reality. Editing can do so much. We've all seen shooting.
did you get it?
If she got it, I'm fine. Or did you just do that randomly? Now they just smack.
It was a pretty big fly.
The one that's going in our face? Yeah, no. Destiny for the MVP. Speaking of actors, no, I agree. At the end of the day, editing can do so much. So I can edit a mediocre performance into something much better than what it was on set. I can't make a shitty person be a better person. Like if they're just gonna be, and the other thing about like a toxic person on a film set is really like a bad apple. The saying of a bad apple spoils the whole bunch is completely and accurately true. It will literally destroy the entire set.
Somebody with that negative attitude, you watch even the big Hollywood productions, you see this person that has no chemistry with anybody on set. They're supposed to be this likable, loving character, and you can tell, just it's all right here in the
I
character's
feel like you're
eyes.
thinking of a specific character in a specific movie.
Not exactly, but I've
I've
seen, usually those kind of movies I end up putting over here in the trash can of the mind because that actor or actress.
I immediately think of
ruined
Tori Spelling and anything she's ever done.
What? What'd you say?
Tori Spelling.
You don't like Tori Spelling?
She can't act to save her fucking
Okay,
life.
I
Her
just-
career is based
I
on
agree.
nepotism. It's because
But
Aaron Spelling is her
But you see that happen if you watch certain movies, you see the reactions, the interviews, the way they act together, they don't get along. Like, on the opposite spectrum, you use Tom Holland for his opening his mouth and not being able to keep his mouth shut during MCU touring stuff for promotion. And you know that that's a legitimate thing, his character's likable, the people are actually having fun with it because everybody gets along.
I'm sorry, was it MCU?
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No, I don't understand. I only watch genre stuff.
Horror movie.
This is slasher.
But you get my point though with actors, moving on,
Lost
doing
me.
that. I know it's superheroes suck, I know. But
I like some stuff, but
Everyone
But
lives.
the point being is the actors, the interactions, you can see when they're having fun, they're doing the great stuff, and then you see the stuff and it goes through and that you can't edit that out. You can't edit an asshole unless they want you need that to be an asshole. You just can't edit that out. Especially
I'm going to
if
say
it's
that.
supposed
You can't edit an asshole.
Yeah, we had that on inverted. It really brings down the morale.
Yeah.
of
It
the whole
does.
cast
One
and the
bad
acting
apple can spoil
quality.
the whole fucking bunch. Would you like to share a name? Because I feel like we could all listen.
At the moment, but they know who they are.
Yeah.
But we found an
I never
actor.
we've all had those. Tristan Risk. Yeah.
But-
no, totally. Oh my god, I said a name!
I think it's important to spend a lot of time with your actors ahead of time too, to see, like, I did a lot of table reads and have them come over to my house and just see the camaraderie and start building the camaraderie early so that when you get to set, everybody just kind of, you know, there's a flow to it. And so the film we just wrapped on, probably the best time I've had on a movie because we spent so much time ahead of time, you know, doing table reads and examining, going through all the dialogue and deciding to make changes then rather than doing it on set, where sometimes there could be arguing on, I don't want to change this line, right? I think this line needs to be this. We got all that out of the way early, and that way we were
But
on
also,
set.
you're a fucking actor. Shut the fuck up. Listen to the director. If the director says you're
Well, no,
changing a line,
when he's-
you're changing a line.
You know, but I really, you know, I agree with a lot with what he says because then you, as a director, you learn how to interact with your own cast. You learn how to direct them. You start speaking the same language
Well,
over
you
time.
just have time to get to know them too.
Yeah.
Just like I like to sit down and actually have a real talk with them. I
Yeah.
don't want to just talk about the script. I want to talk about their lives and what they're doing.
Yeah.
On that table read too, you're saying you get that perfect actor to play your part that you wrote, and all of a sudden you realize, wow, that line when it actually comes out of this person's mouth sounds kind of not right, and then you.
Right.
How would you like to say?
Or-
would you do that?
Or sometimes
Would
they
you
make it
play-
sound better. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the thing.
that's
You're
right.
like, whoa, that sounds way better than
I'm
what
good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So
I think social
You go for
media
it.
too
Yeah.
plays a lot into it. I
Yeah.
think you can tell a lot from a person before even like offering the role. So like when you're looking at an audition video, I always stalk Facebook, Instagram, Facebook,
Well, that's what
Twitter.
social media is for. Stop.
I'll look through your feed. I will go back 5 years before I offer you.
Oh my
Can you go back 5 years on me?
I didn't go that far back on you.
You wouldn't
But
want
there
to-
are people like I never met, you know, you need to know that they are, and then you can see their political views, you can see anything. I mean, it's all there.
Yeah.
Just look hard
I
enough.
want to add something for the question you had.
Which one?
For
I
up and coming
forgot.
actors,
Oh,
like
yeah.
how to get into doing it. What really worked for me, just coming from not knowing anybody and just wanting to do it because I had a passion for it. How to get headshots. You don't need a professional person when you're first coming out. I don't think. Get your friend to take some cool photos of you. You have an iPhone that shoots super HD, even blurs the background, looks pretty nice. So take some headshots. And then as for showing your talent, something I did was I picked a scene from one of my favorite movies and I did a monologue. And I had Tristan record me. So there you have, you know, a platform to show your skills and then you have some headshots. So from there what I did was I went on Facebook, I went on Google, and I started searching for auditions for films. And I came across Frame Eater films, and that's how I got my first role in Party Night. And I sent the headshots that my best friend literally took. I was like, here's my monologue, this is what I can do. They're like, wow, okay, this is cool. So they sent me the sides, I did the audition, and I got it. So it's just as simple as that. And I really feel like in today's day and age, with technology and social media, you can do anything.
But let me just clarify. You saw the standard of headshots and then you met it. So I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
absolutely, you can get your friends to take headshots, but understand, this is what a professional headshot looks like. So when you take that picture, it needs to look like
Yeah,
that
replicate it.
standard.
Let's
Replicate,
ask
just
the
like
question.
repeat it, right? So
Yeah.
like, if this is well lit outside with like a very indistinct background, right? Duplicate that. Right? Don't have, I get shitty fucking headshots, at which point I'm not even letting you audition. 'Cause
It just
don't
makes you
get
look
it.
unprofessional.
It makes you look unprofessional. If you are submitting a headshot, it needs to look like a professional headshot. I don't care who fucking shot it. I'm not researching as a
Yeah.
filmmaker who shot your headshots. I don't give a flying fuck who
It
shot
just
it.
looks right.
No, it just
I
has
was-
to look like all of your, here's the thing, it has to look as good or better as your competition. Which means like your age range, your look. Do you look as good as everybody else who submitted for the role? As long as it looks as good, I don't care.
I was at another convention where this actor was talking about headshots. There was a little bit of a workshop, and it looked weird as hell on how he performed it on getting the right position for the head.
Yeah.
Doing that number.
Was it in Kentucky? There was a really shitty guy.
Do we have a
There was a
chiropractor?
really shitty guy in
We need a
Kentucky
chiropractor.
who literally gave like the worst headshot advice ever, and I was like, no, don't do that. That's horrible. No, don't listen to that. It was like, I'm in a jungle. I was like, nobody's casting for that. He was like, I'm in a jungle. It was so awkward.
I
was like,
over-exaggerated
nobody's
this,
covering that.
and the point
I'm not
being is
exaggerating
he's
at all.
trying to get that, like, you gotta get that, the structure of the face right, and basically he said if you stick it out and then pull it back in and up, you get that right, and of course you're trying to get that right
It
angle.
sounds like my jungle
Because it's not
friends.
like this stuff where you're, yeah, that's just crazy.
He was literally,
That's like
he was literally like,
a jungle
jungle.
jump. I'm gonna send you a headshot of me doing like a.
First of all, no good headshot takes place in the jungle.
Come on, everybody, that doesn't,
Or Kentucky.
they don't look great. Wouldn't you want to hire that face? Come on. All right, don't answer it.
And he charged like a lot. He was like an
All right,
acting
Nathan,
coach who like literally charged money for these like lessons.
Wow, really?
I was like, never give him any money. No.
So, you guys have been through the ringer on so many different situations regarding filmmaking, and it's always a journey. So, one word, yes or no, is it worth it?
Yes.
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 TBD.
To be decided.
Get off my panel!
I'll let you know in a decade.
But
I hope so. It will fucking suck if it's not.
But are you having fun right now doing it?
I mean, I'm having fun.
So yes.
No, that doesn't mean yes.
If you're
I
not
have fun
enjoying it,
doing a lot
why are
of
you doing
things.
it?
Dude, you've been in some badass movies.
I've done
I say that's a yes. I saw your portfolio and I said, that's sick.
You are being you're being optimistically pessimistic.
No, I'm just
Right?
understanding I am at the age I'm at without a retirement fund. And I'm like, how am I paying my next rent?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, let's just keep it fucking real.
Well, I don't think that's ever going to go away for anybody.
No.
Shut the fuck up. I hope to get to a point where I know where a rent's getting paid.
Well, I mean, too. But
I have a dog.
Never know
He
where your
requires
next rent
things.
paycheck's coming from.
I have the world's greatest dog. He requires a lifestyle.
yeah. Well, I mean, I got kids, and there's an insane amount of sacrifice that goes into wanting to make movies, and it's like, yeah, you know, my wife and I, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, because my wife she works on all the films.
Does
with
she
me.
have a real job?
Yeah.
Okay, good
She
for
takes
her.
care of. She has I have a real job.
Do you? Yeah. What's her real job?
I'm not telling you.
Okay.
You know what?
Can you tell me off camera? I really want to know.
But, I mean-
But I love that chair. Yes. Fuck
But
yes.
yeah, you know, there's always going to be struggle and stress, and you know, do I want to go and make, you know, the next Hellraiser or Candyman movie? Do I want to direct an episode of the supposed Night Breach series that's going to come out? Hell yes, I do. And am I going to get paid? Well, I hope so. But if they're like, well, we're only going to pay you, we're not going to pay you day rate because you're not union or you're not part of any guild, and well, shit. You know, there goes that opportunity, because that would have been really cool to do. You know, I really, truly feel that I could do this, but screw it, I'm gonna have to go to work. I gotta keep a roof over my head, and not every dream's gonna come true, but I'm working really hard towards it, and hell, I got to make a fucking movie with the Hell Priest. Wow! Like, I had a lot of fun doing that. I paid all my friends, you know, I just got my canvas art last night, so yeah, I'm having a great time. This is a lot of fun.
But I don't think the question
I
is,
can't wait till the next
I'm having a
one.
great time. I'm having a great time, but like,
Is it worth it though?
Oh,
is
yes.
it worth it?
Yes, totally worth it. And you know what? If it comes to a point where like my hands get cut off and I can never operate a DSLR again, you know,
That's a camera for all of you.
or you know, if I can't get anyone back on my set, which honestly, you know, like I said earlier, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And I've already gotten hit up for another project by like some real producers, and I'm like, holy shit. And everybody's saying I'm in already. I'm like, I haven't written the script yet. I don't care, I'm in. It's fun. It's great. You always finish your project. That's another thing. Always finish your project. I learned that from another filmmaker.
Yes.
I learned that from another filmmaker from Austin who made a movie called Last Girl Standing, and that premiered with The Lords of Salem over in England. It's been all over Shudder, and I think it was on Netflix for a while too. But the movies, they're great people, and they said, if you want people to work with you and you want to keep going, you always fulfill your commitments and you always finish a project. And if you start failing at that, you're gonna watch it go away. And I've seen people just disappear because they don't have the drive to finish. I like shooting and making the movie, but I don't like editing. So I'm gonna find an editor to do it for free. I'm like, no one's gonna edit your garbage, and you gotta shit or get off the pot.
Or
Man.
but nobody's gonna care the way that you care.
It's not just that issue about, somebody not wanting to edit it. The issue is also that editor might not catch your vision.
Yep.
You have a certain.
That's why my wife's my editor.
Well, she shows your vision.
Well,
Where's your
you edit
wife
your
now?
stuff?
She's at home.
I edit all my stuff. You don't edit your own, or do you edit your own?
My wife does the primary, she does all the preliminary editing, and then I come in and I clean it up, and then she goes through, and then we go back and forth, and then I'm gonna give it to George, and he's gonna do the color grading, and then we have the,
I really would like to borrow your wife.
My wife's pretty awesome. She's a
She
burlesque
sounds
performer.
amazing. Oh my god!
Yeah, she sings. She's a burlesque performer who.
Does she want to come to Hollywood for a couple months?
She sings simultaneously. Like, you ever seen Evil Dead the musical? Yeah, she does a routine from Evil Dead the musical. All the men in my life have been killed by Kandarian demons, and she dresses up like the girl from the second movie with the yellow shirt, and she does this whole routine, and she pulls out an Ashy Slashy from the television show who she talks back at her. And,
So for the record, A, you're the luckiest man alive.
I am.
B, can I literally borrow her for like 2 months? I only need her for 2 months. She'll be super happy when she returns.
dude, I think she would probably say yes, but
I can say I know it's worth it for me because it's the thing I want more than anything in the world.
You say, no, it's not worth it?
I said I know why
You know why it's worth
it is worth
yeah.
it because it's the thing I want more than anything in the world. Because as a kid, sitting there watching Nightmare on Elm Street and just wishing and dreaming and just thinking, have you ever laid in bed and just thought, what would the perfect life be? If I could have everything in the world, what would it be? And mine was always, if I could be in a movie or just make a horror movie. How incredible would that be?
I'm about that close from having that myself. Because, it's, for me, seeing what you guys do and trying to work my way up through it and doing content creation with YouTube and doing cons like this and events and festivals, getting to meet individuals like you that aren't thinking that they are in this cloud level world that peasants, leave me be.
No.
Yes. No, you're like, yo, what's up? Oh my god, I did this, I'm doing that, and oh, you should here, see my stuff, see my stuff, see my stuff. And it's like, so you want to talk, you want to talk, you want to talk. And that's what I love doing with you guys, and knowing that there's this passion, this love of film. You're scowling over there, but
This is just my face.
oh,
resting scowl face.
Although also, I love your passion.
RSF, dressing scowl face.
I love your passion. Carry
But
on.
it's so wonderful to see you guys doing what you do. It's really tough knowing that it's really tough regarding the fact that you don't have the backing for your films that other crappy films get. Your films, they might lack that certain je ne sais quoi, if you will, that certain polish. But
I
there
politely
is-
disagree. My films are polished
No.
as fuck.
they are polished. Your films, all of them, are polished. There's just that.
To the level you're at.
The Hollywood glaze, that perfect sugar coating over the donut kind of thing that Hollywood has because they can, but you guys don't let that bother you. You let it. It's right there, I know. But that push, that desire to get past that level and say, look what I did without that. And people here at these events that are going like, holy crap, dude, your zombie film, that artsy style, the way you approach your zombies is absolutely fantastic. Dude, even though that movie's title Suck Balls, it's the fact that it's great.
But he
The
didn't
original
choose that
title is
title.
awesome.
He had a
The
good
fact
time.
that you guys didn't go to school for this and are doing films that are actually getting attention and notoriety. The fact that you are doing all this stuff and your stuff is on sci-fi, your stuff is picked up by all these companies, and you're out there doing real film work, and yours going from music into really awesome films and having these wonderful stories, all without some BS marketing bull from some Hollywood asshat I thought I saw a child walking. I wanted to make sure it wasn't. You guys are what makes what I do as a content creator, doing panels and interviews, fun, exciting, worthwhile, and makes me want to keep doing what I do and bring it past that to a new level. So I can be the new level of entertainment news and get to be talking to you guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the people that make Hollywood wish they were this awesome. Give it up for this wonderful filmmaking.
I bet they're not as happy doing what they do.